here tonight so that we can talk to you about what we've been doing and where we need to go from here. I'd like to tell you we've been working on this for about a year. We've had 3 major speakers in our time. We've had the Sheriff of Augustine, Jeannie Bruins, the Mayor of Citrus Heights, and Ken Cooley, the Assemblyman from Rancho Cordova area. We've had a really good time to figure out an awful lot about what's going on. In doing so, we've met a lot of people. I'm going to introduce these people to you tonight. They're the ones that are really going to be speaking. So the first one I'd like to introduce is Michael Seaman. He is the founder of CaliforniaUnincorporated.com. Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Seaman. I live in Arden Arcade in unincorporated Sacramento County. I am part of the growing movement towards incorporation in our own community. And about 4 years ago, staff from the League of Cities advised us to join with unincorporated areas elsewhere in the state to help bring attention to the plight of the 6 million Californians who are effectively denied a municipal level of government by virtue of their community's unincorporated status. 6 million Californians. That's roughly the population of Tennessee or Missouri. The 6 million people in those states have 2 senators in Congress and several congressional representatives, a governor and a state legislature, and a whole lot of cities. But the 6 million people here don't have that kind of representation. We are ignored as a minority in a state of 40 million people. Our municipal services come from boards of supervisors who are obligated to do as the state instructs and cannot give weight to local matters like land use or law enforcement. We have no mayors or city councils to hear our concerns about local priorities. So in 2017, grassroots organizations from Arden Arcade and 4 other California communities began to work together to make municipal incorporations easier and less expensive, to give voice to the voiceless. Our coalition, California Unincorporated, has now grown to 13 communities across 10 different counties. And one of those communities is El Dorado Hills. I'm here this evening to lend support to the local citizens who are asking for your assistance in exploring pathways whereby El Dorado Hills can become a city. California Unincorporated is strongly in favor of democracy and local control. We believe local people know what's best for their community and should be empowered to make decisions about development and services in their own area. Further, we seek to level the playing field for proposed municipal corporations by improving the LAFCO process and urging fairness for new city budgets upon incorporation. And one example is our advocacy on behalf of Assembly Bill 818 in the 2018-2020 legislative session to provide new cities with access to the same revenue streams that existing cities get. I urge your support for the request before you from citizens of the grassroots here. If the local community so desires, California Unincorporated stands ready to assist in the discussions. We would be happy to provide information from across our network. Thank you for your attention to my remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Our next speaker is Rod Wood. Rod is the retired city manager of the city of Beverly Hills and chose to move here to El Dorado Hills. Rod, come on up here. We'd like to hear you speak.
After having served 40 years in the profession, the first thing I want to do is thank you, the board and staff, for the commitment and dedication that I know you all give. And I also know the things that you go through in trying to do your jobs. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that as a relatively new resident. Having read about the city of issue, I had volunteered to help in terms of my background, and particularly in terms of putting together the finances and the budget and those kinds of things to assure that any future progression towards cityhood actually was a financially feasible and viable alternative. And I I know this was done once about 15 years ago, but a lot has changed in 15 years. And this community is now by far the largest community in the county. And there is a good argument that self-determination and representation is an appropriate approach. And I might be a little biased in having performed that job for 40 years, but I do believe in local governance. What I was asked to talk about is what is the role of CSDs from a historical perspective. In the early 1950s, the state of California established community service districts to assist rural areas, and most of California in the early 50s was in fact rural, to be able to provide some basic services to the community that it couldn't otherwise provide, and because it wasn't quite large enough in terms of revenue opportunities to become an incorporated community. Counties at that time were, and for that fact still are, principally obligated to a number of duties that the state delegates to them: the courts, the jails, health services, welfare services, child protective services, a whole range of services that consume the bulk of their budget and the bulk of their time. Their focus historically has not been on municipal kinds of affairs, and it still isn't, simply because of the charge that they're given and how much of their time and effort is provided in that. The advantages of becoming a city, of course, is that you can take the same revenues and direct them in the direction that you want. The concept of community service districts was to continue to provide those services in a rural area until incorporation could occur. It has classically been the case that many of the community services districts have simply merged into the incorporated cities, so that the services and the properties and the parks and all the things that they do, and in some areas public safety services as well, continue to occur uninterrupted, and hopefully even at a better rate because of better revenue base that exists. And I think that's the opportunity for this board as well as part of its role, which is to work and assist community in those pursuits. The issue that is really before us is to, again, look at that opportunity and determine its feasibility and put that before the voters. It is not for our committee or for the CSD to determine whether El Dorado Hills should be a city, but it is our duty to let the folks make that decision through the ballot and not through individuals. Another concept I support strongly, which is that democracy. And I always say local government in California almost works because it is close to the people. They can corner you in the grocery store, and in California at least, all local government is nonpartisan, and I think that's a key component to making things work, and that's true for the county as well. I think the county has done an excellent job here, but I think there may be some more opportunities for the local community to make some decisions about the kind of police services that they want, road maintenance activities, as well as expanding on our community services and parks and those kinds of things. So, any questions you might have about that historical purpose of the CSD and how you might fit into this role of assisting the community evaluate this question, I'd be happy to answer.
You mentioned the financial feasibility. Is that what progress has been made in that?
Well, we're still forming the coalition to take a look at that and to put together the funding to pay for that. There are some disputes within the state of California as to exactly how extensive and the nature of that, particularly relates to the no loss of revenue clauses with the counties. That gets interpreted in different ways in different counties in that process. So we're still putting that component of it together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Ms. Smith?
Offhand, we'll be sticking around after, just so you can ask questions as these speakers explain. The next speaker is John Shorley. John is the past police chief of the city of Tustin. And when he retired, he became a police chief for several other agencies, I believe a total of 7 of them. He has his PhD. Very grateful for that, known him for a long time, and I'd like to introduce John Shorley.
Thank you for having us. I have lived in El Dorado Hills 44 years, and this development of a community, and when the opportunity came to address law enforcement services in that community, I felt it was necessary to get involved. I've served as the chief of police in 7 different organizations over a career that's been 47 years, and I have worked for and worked with city councils of all different sizes and cities of different sizes. The difference between the sheriff's department and the service they provide today, and I have met privately with the sheriff, and I've had some interesting conversations with him in our general meetings, is that rural law enforcement and the quality of service is, different than municipal, locally supervised, locally directed law enforcement. Municipalities, city managers, mayors who have a police chief that they can feed direct information and have some consequence if that direction isn't followed is a positive thing in terms of home rule. Having increased attention to traffic law enforcement, to crime prevention, to immediate response time is critical. And that's part of the benefit that comes with a municipal law enforcement. I do not denigrate in any way the efforts of the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department. I like the sheriff a lot. It's just a different organization than a municipal police agency. And so I have been at all the meetings. I'm willing to answer any questions and to discuss the issues. If you follow Facebook or neighborhood, you know I'm on there quite a bit because it clearly is a topic of great concern in the community. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Our last speaker tonight is Chris Nicholson. Chris is a retired attorney and also an entrepreneur, and he's going to talk to you about where we go next.
Hi, thanks again. Sorry for the tag team here. We never throwing a lot at you. Steve said, well, you'll just go last, Chris, and you'll sort of summarize it. So go ahead. But so what are we talking about? I mean, the CSD has been around for a long time. It's one of the old school CSDs. And historically, it's a stepping stone to becoming a full city. I mean, you're already sort of the backbone of the community, form a lot of functions. The law that enables CSDs actually allows them to do all kinds of other stuff. We could have a police department. We could manage utilities. We could negotiate with SMUD, PG&Es like we do with the cable companies. But what we can't do as CSDs, we can't manage the broader budget, property tax cut that currently goes through the county, and we can't manage land use and planning issues. So whether you're for Costco or against Costco, or you love Chick-fil-A or you don't, or you want SMUD or PG&E or a lot of other issues, that's out of our hands, as we all are aware. And the law specifically contemplates that CSDs are a pathway to full cityhood when a community is ready. And our humble sense is we're ready. We're 4 or 5 times larger than the county seat. We're by far the largest community in the county. And if you look across California, we're the only sizable county where the largest community isn't a city. Kind of a weird statistic, but if you pause and think about it, you know, if a Martian came down and looked at a map of El Dorado County and squinted, they could tell you where the capital was. They could tell you where the seat of government was. They could tell you where the center of gravity was. And, you know, we humbly suggest that for a variety of reasons, maybe it's time to give that a careful think. We think the next steps are considering forming a committee of the CSD where we can work together, explore this topic, see if it's worth digging into deeper, answering questions about the financial feasibility. That's a critical concern. Everyone's question is, well, where does the money come from? Is there enough money? And the only honest answer is, we don't know. And the reason why we don't know is you need to do some work, you need to hire a consultant, you need to gather a lot of statistics, but ultimately it's going to come down to what's called the revenue neutrality agreement. And that's where the county comes to the table, and we come to the table, and LAFCO comes to the table, and we decide, you know, how do we convert what we've got now, the CSD that's working, that's healthy, that's doing a lot for the community, and see what would it look like if we took the next step up to be a full formal city with a city council and a mayor, et cetera. And, you know, why now? In addition to the fact that we've kind of grown up, there's a lot of new revenue coming online soon. I mean, Costco alone is gonna send $1.25 million to the county every year in sales tax. That city cut, as soon as it becomes part of the standard budget for the county, sets the baseline from which we negotiate. It's kind of a little bit of a divorce. There's an alimony conversation there. So it's a timely topic. We're getting bigger. There's a lot of projects. We would humbly request that we would dig in together, explore it, see if it's something we want to look into more as a community. And thanks so much for your attention. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from you? I appreciate you guys coming out. You mentioned a committee. We've talked about that as well, as far as forming a subcommittee ad hoc to work with the topic. So we'll further discuss that, and I'm sure Steve and I will be in contact as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you again. Moving on to any public comment regarding the cityhood? No public comment? Okay.
What did you say?
Any public comment regarding the cityhood topic?
I'll make a comment on it.
Sure.
I think it's a terrible idea. And I don't want to take a lot of time right now, but I think it's a terrible idea. I think the CSD especially will be affected by this. We have great services that CSD is providing. The sheriff made a presentation not too long ago to this group, and the services that they're providing is quite a lot more than you really recognize by just the people, the sheriff's people that drive around in the city. And so I think we're getting good service from the county. We have a good county supervisor right now, doing a great job for us. You see the work that's being done on the El Dorado Hills Boulevard here. The transportation department is doing a good job. And I think if we become a city, we'll all experience greater expenses. Just look over the hill at what Folsom's doing. How the development there is just continually big and big and big. And then what's going to happen to the transportation? The traffic is going to just So I think, and Granite Bay, I understand, is larger than we are. And they're not a city, and I don't think they care to be one. So I'm definitely against it. I'll leave it at that right now.
Just so we can, for our record, I know we know golf board, but could you guys come up here? Could you state your name?
I'm sorry.
Just for the record.
My name is Bob Dorr. I lived here for about 47 years. So I've watched this grow. I've probably been part of the responsibility for the development in some of this areas. And I've done some things like the landscaping here on the boulevard was one of the efforts that I did. We can do a lot of things just by volunteers. We got a lot of people that would be glad to do that. So we don't need to be a city to have better services. I think we've got great services right now. And I don't want to see what this community services district is doing with our parks and recreation programs. I'm really impressed with what you folks are doing. Get your magazine every once in a while, and my goodness, it's amazing what you're doing. And I don't want to see that diminish. And if we want more police protection, we can get it through the CSD. We can get it. I understand that the fire district has the ability to do that too. So if we want more, we can get it, and it won't cost us more than it would if we were a city. Any questions?
Public comment is usually one way. During public comment, it's usually just one way, just receiving information. Well, during public comment, we're just receiving information.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand that. I'm surprised you let me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Dorr.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing for public comment. My name is Douglas Wheelan. I'm a 22-year resident, not 47 years, of Eldorado County. My home is in Latrobe. I own a business here in Eldorado Hills. We've been here 22 years, recruited here by the Mansur family to be the lead developer of Eldorado Hills Town Center, which I did from 1997 through 2012. I used to believe what Mr. Dorr believed. I no longer do. I have some exposure to this matter, among other things. I'm the chairman of the board of California Business Properties Association, very involved in state politics, state revenue, and local planning. And I think this issue is about building community. It is about local control, and not so much about local land use control or local fiscal control, but building community and building culture. Twice in the 18 years that my wife and I lived in Orinda, Eldorado County, before we moved here, the matter of local incorporation came up on the ballot, and both times I voted against it. And I voted against it for the very reasons that Mr. Dorr just suggested. The first time the matter was defeated. The second time, nobody listened to my vote, it passed. And the effect of that vote for that community, where we still have family and friends, has been quite remarkable. And it's all about building community and building local culture by acknowledging and reflecting local interests. When I moved to Eldorado County, there were about 13,000 residents in Eldorado Hills. We're now almost 5 times that size. Not quite, but almost there. And yet we don't really have a voice over the cultural and community issues that are important to Eldorado Hills. I don't live here, I live in Latrobe, right? Different zip code, different place. My hope is that the Latrobe community becomes part of the Eldorado Hills community. But I will tell you, from my perspective of real estate development, infill development, building community, building culture, and involvement in state politics, this is a critical issue and critical to the future of this community. And I hope the community comes out and supports it. I voted against it twice. I know this is a great thing for Eldorado Hills, and I encourage your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, how are you? You state your name. Big happiness. Wayne Lowry, resident of Eldorado Hills since the mid-1980s. I can give you the exact dates, but you don't need that. You know that I worked and was served on the board with the CSD, but some of you may not know that I was the first city Parks and Recreation Director for the city of Mission Viejo when it incorporated. It had been a CSD in the 1988 March. They incorporated and became a city. City's budget, my second year, not my first, but the second year, was $28 million. Out of that, $13 million was Parks and Recreation. The city controls the budget. The city has the opportunity to decide what the priorities are and how those are going to work. Police and a lot of other services come with that. A lot of them require, some of them optional. You don't have to do animal control, for example, but some cities like to do that. I was involved, of course, when 2004 incorporation was done 15 years ago. And I went into it hesitant. I had 5 board members very excited about the concept. 4 of them actually ran for city council had we been successful. But I had shared Bob Dorr's concern, what's going to happen to our services? Now we have to compete with police or road maintenance and those kinds of things. Over that time, and I would echo with Bob's comment too, that we have excellent services. I have no prejudice about that. I just totally believe that we've always had excellent services. But at that time, I learned that it's a matter of control. You can't have a city council that becomes an Elk Grove and has 180,000 residents and build and build and build and grow and grow and grow. But this community has always been more of a no growth lean. And my suspicion is the city council put in place, the council members will continue to have that kind of impact. That's not the case in some of the other communities. Recently, I was appointed by Supervisor Heidel to serve on the County Park and Recreation Commission. And in a very short time, I realized even though this county works very hard, has high quality efforts to provide services to all of the county, not just El Dorado Hills, their funding stinks. They've got very few reserve funds set up to take care of their own park system, let alone the other buildings and facilities. Most of the money they have is conditioned by the state, how they can spend it. Their general fund, where that they can use for other kinds of things, is very limited, and you see the result of that. Fewer sheriff services and so forth. Their park system, which when I got here in '90, working with the CSD, was a major goal. It's, they were never able to accomplish that. But they're great partners, and the quality of their staff and their politicians are absolutely excellent. What we need is a fiscal study, though, initial fiscal study, to determine whether incorporation makes financial sense. Until that's done, it's kind of a clean slate. We don't really know where this is going to go. And the funding for that, I think, is absolutely critical to get that initial study. So hopefully the board of directors will get on this. You can make a decision later not to go and support incorporation, but if you get the information, do your homework ahead of time, it'll put you in a position to be able to make a good decision for the future of El Dorado. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Good evening. I'm my old District 1 supervisor, and going back to 2004, the chairman of the El Dorado Hills Corporation Committee. I think most of you know that I have a history with this particular subject matter. I'm not going to support or say anything repeat anything that's been said before. I just wanted to give you a statistic that I recently got from the city of Folsom, that they have 78 sworn officers in the city of Folsom and 3 school resource officers that they fund out of their budget for a population of 78,000. That's 1 sworn police officer per 1,000 population. I think if you ask the sheriff to give you an equivalent number, you'd find that it's probably half or less of that in reality. Because the county just has so many law enforcement requirements. We have a lot of rural areas. It takes a lot of time to respond to those areas. The sheriff is doing the best he can with the resources he has available, and he has great staff, but they can't provide the same level of law enforcement as what an incorporated area does. I mean, that's a well-proven fact. There's a lot of studies on it. So I just want to leave you with that thought. I'm open-minded about where this goes, but I do reinforce the fact it's time to do an analysis and really look at where we are. What's called the critical flaw analysis, or whatever, that first initial fiscal analysis is very important, because you'll find that I think the costs are extreme when you start a newly incorporated area. And the advantage we had back in 2004 was we were getting a lot of funds from the state for vehicle license fees for basically city startups. It's like a capital investment account for startups. And I know there's work and talk about trying to reinstate that with the state, but it all comes down to how does the economics pencil out. And I think that part is the one part I'm most concerned with is how does it really economically pencil out. Residents don't want to pay more for services, but they want better services. So that's the challenge, I guess, before you. And with that, I'll leave it. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
John Knight, I've been in the community since the early '80s. I want to mention, I think Doug Willie's made a very good point. This is about establishing a community, and I think that's critical. And I think Wayne Lowry has also made a very good point. We need that fiscal feasibility study to move forward. But I want to mention a couple of things that I think oftentimes are overlooked. If El Dorado Hills becomes a city, you'll have a representative on SACON. The county is represented by only one person within the county. City of Placerville has some, but you'll have a representative on SACON. You'll also have a representative on the El Dorado County Transportation Commission, which is the one that puts out transportation dollars. You'll also have a representative on El Dorado Transit, which also makes a big deal. And there's many other commissions and community interest groups that the city will have a seat on. Right now, you don't. It's diluted by other members, that are in the county. So there's a lot of other aspects that you can have a say-so in that you really don't have a direct say-so at the present time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further public comment?
Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Okay, review of written communication.